check one, check two. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, Rob Cantrell. I have a great guest, a dope guest. I'm so excited about this. Please give it up for Sameer Naseem, everybody. Sameer.
What up? What up, man?
What up, dude? What up? What up? Yeah, I do that little cheesy start them up, but you know, you got to do something. You got to bookend it with the podcast, my man.
100%.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm all right. You know, considering like this whole new way of living kind of vibe, but I'm doing all right. How about you?
You look great, man. The vibe is awesome. Just to let the listeners know, Sameer has been a comedian. I've known Sameer maybe like 10 years now, 15 years.
Yeah.
He's a comedian, writer, great stand-up, hilarious dude, funny, interesting cat. He's written for Vice. He produced a couple television shows for Vice magazine, but he also just recently worked on Wyatt Cenac's show. He was a producer there, but he ran the show, one of my favorite shows at Pete's Candy Store, The Funhouse, which I ended up him helping me record my album. So I just wanted to give a little backstory to you, Sameer. I know you're doing things and making moves, and I'm glad you took the time to come on to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Also, that was a great record, man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I still die of laughter about the snake. You think you're big time?
Good job, big time.
That was on Adult Swim, even.
What's that?
That was on Adult Swim.
What's that? What was
that clip was on Adult Swim, wasn't it?
No, but that cat, that animator, he got picked up. I got him early, but I know him when he did stand-up. Really good dude. But I think he's doing all of the Comedy Central trip DMT shit that they're rolling out. Like that style. Like he did that. And Grant. Do you know Grant?
No, but it was, dude, that clip is amazing.
Yeah, it's
like I was seeing it on the internet and I was like crying with laughter. It was so cool looking, like, and also it was like perfect.
Yeah, it was good. I appreciate it. I mean, that record label, at least they've done a lot. I can't say they haven't done anything, but and that record has done okay. It's gotten better just the last month. Like my numbers went up due to the pandemic, which I was like, oh shit, I don't know about money, and the album wasn't really bumping. And then like that month, like it really took off. It was weird. Like I think people are just tuning in more or something.
Yeah, people need like to laugh, and people need comedy right now in their lives, man. You know.
100%. I'm just trying to get this back. I've been doing the back recording of this, but it's not really. We'll get it on this.
Yeah.
That was a fun show, and Pete's Candy Store is like all wooden, and it's this hollow. It really looks like something like the Beatles would play at, like in the 1959, 61 era, you know?
Yeah, dude.
So I loved it, and it's just like a jump point for a lot of like acoustic musicians, like in Williamsburg and Brooklyn. It just has that vibe.
100%.
Yeah. How are you doing, my man? Like, I don't know. I hit a wall today. I've been really good, and I haven't been bumming out on the quarantine, and actually been really positive. And you know, just like I've been watching every Star Wars movie with my family every night. Like we've been going through the whole thing.
That's cool.
Today I hit a wall, man. It hit me today. Like I'm just fucking tired of it.
Yeah. So like last time, it's crazy that you said that. Last night, I got like really groovy. I just like, you know, was pretty toasted, and then it hit me like a brick. Like I just was like, I can't believe this is going on. And you know, I think the fatigue is definitely set in, where I'm just like, I mean, I miss it all. I miss going out. Honestly, the last night I went out was when I saw you, and we were talking, and we were at a table talking, and then like we left, I remember we had this conversation on the street, and I was like, I really hope that this doesn't, get out of control or whatever. And we like parted ways on the street in Park Slope, I think. And you walked home. I like went home, and then I never went out after that. And it's hard to believe, but I just miss all that. Like, I miss being able to pop in somewhere and seeing like a friend, like seeing you, like I run into you. I'm like so stoked. I'm like, yeah, but like now I'm like, it's not the same, It's like we're just in our houses, and like I miss that element of that surprise for sure.
Yeah,
And
man, you're a man of the people. You're a man of the streets, Sameer. You're always around. You've been always kind of omnipresent in Brooklyn in a happy, cool, good way. And not, I mean, you could talk for like I can get sucked in and talk to you. You're being quiet on the podcast a little bit now, but because I know you. But I know I saw you posting on your IG about how much you missed going on stage, and how much you wanted to go on stage, and how much you were at a point where you weren't really appreciating it, and now you've gotten some perspective. Like, holy shit! Like it almost looks like water to a fish with you, with going up on stage and talking your shit.
But dude, you too, like that's like very much how I describe it. Like you would pop in a room and just like, I remember sometimes at Funhouse, like the energy would be low, and then you'd pop through and I'd be like, oh boy, like this is gonna wake them up. And then you'd go up, and like I think I have a video somewhere on my phone of one night before your album recording. You were at Funhouse, you went up, and I was in the bar part, and I was talking to the bartender, and I just hear the whole room rumbling, and then I went to the window behind the stage room and was just like videotaping everyone going crazy, and you were doing like a hilarious bit. But like, yeah, it's like,
your room,
I miss it.
room. Yeah, your Funhouse. Thank you. And I've had some of the funnest times on your sets, but it wasn't consistent. Not to say it was the room or anything or the vibe. It almost made it more honest. But sometimes I would tank in there. Sometimes I would go awkward. But then there was a couple times where I just get those first few steps, and I could make that room really rock. And that's why I recorded the album there.
Yeah, they were like there for it, and if they were quiet, it's like that was even like a weirder thing, because they would come up after the show and be like, "Oh, I'm like, what was like so and so's name? They were so great." And then I'd be like, "Yo, you gotta follow them or whatever. Go see them like perform." Excuse me. And they'd be like super fans after that, like, but I'd be like, where was your enthusiasm when it was time to laugh? Like, they're just like shy, but they loved it. It was a unique place, man. Like, yeah, I really miss being on stage, and like, I just can't believe, I don't know, the more I think about like when the next time is going to be, is like the more I get overwhelmed. And so I feel like I was so blazed last night that I started thinking about it, and it just was like DMT fractals in my mind, where I was like, time, like what is time, and how long is too long, and whatever. And like, the skills that you get from like live comedy that you've got to continue to sharpen, like the tools that you have and the skills, you've just got to keep like at it. And that's what's so rewarding about it too, is like you just continue to learn, like, and you continue to like evolve. And like, so I miss that, and I'm worried about that. Like, I've gone like a few weeks of like being away and not performing, then you come back and you just feel so rusty. And I'm like, wow, like what's it gonna be like when it returns? Like, inevitably it has to return, And so it's just like trying to keep those a little less rusty, like in the meantime. But
yeah, I wouldn't sweat it. I mean, I promised myself never not to talk about how long I've been doing stand-up, because I do think it gets annoying, but I have been doing it 20 years. And I will say there's a level of learning, but right now it feels like my body's recouping, because, I just was banging in the streets and all these dirty bars for years, and I do clubs and do theaters with other acts, but, a majority of my game, if you're talking street ball game, is like, rooms like yours all over Brooklyn, the same way it was in San Francisco, the coffee shops. But I will say, like, sometimes it's healthy you take a little bit of time off, Sameer. Like, I don't think you're going to lose it. And I think if anything, your style is so cool. Is you're yourself, and you're super interesting, and you've hang with a lot of different influences, a lot of different musicians, a lot of different artists, and your flavor is just like I've been reading a lot of Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu is the dude that's like supposedly like the oldest of the oldest, and died like the happiest, and always had a smile, and was just the chillest of like early Buddhism texts. But one thing that says, like, if you sharpen a knife, you know, if you keep on sharpening it, it eventually becomes dull.
Right.
And I just took that. It's like, or if you eat, eventually you eat so much, you know, you don't even like food anymore. Same thing, you know, it's like there's a give and take to all of it. If anything, I think you're going to come back you're going to have a better appreciation. Whereas when you were just locked in before the quarantine, you're like, this is what I do. I go out and I ramble on the mic. Now it's like, oh, I can't wait to ramble. You know,
Right.
You kind of lose the perspective, and this has kind of helped gain it in some ways. Hopefully we can make out of all this bullshit alive, which we,
Yeah.
you know,
We will.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Because you're smart. Did you go to Harvard?
No.
You went somewhere. Boston?
I went to UMass Amherst.
Okay. UMass,
Yeah.
I know these schools. What's UMass Amherst? What was, like, give me just like, is that the stoner school? Is that the hippie, artsy, no shave the armpit school? Where are we talking about?
It was like actually it was in Amherst, and like it was kind of like a party stoner school, but it was really good academically too, I think. And
how close is it to Boston? Is that Amherst?
It's like an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours away.
And it's in that collection of colleges that are up there.
Yeah.
So you're like hanging with Harvard a little bit.
Like Smith College, Mount Holyoke, Amherst College, which was like very much like Harvard, and then Hampshire, which was out there, you know, like Hampshire was just like wild. That was the school right there. Like,
yeah, that's where like fish came out of, right?
I think so. I think
that's where the fish literally came out. I'm not sure, but I'm just made that up.
Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, that school is crazy. They had a trick or treat, which was like on trick or treat, everyone would just eat psychedelics on campus, and people would just be running around going bananas. And it got so popular that they like really instituted like a policy where at every entry into campus they had like a checkpoint, and like you would have had to been invited by like somebody who went to the school. So I was like sneaking people in my car trunk and like and bringing them with me.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was mental. And then that was fun. And like they did an Easter keg hunt where like the president of the school would like ring a bell, and then like on Easter everyone would run around with cups looking for kegs, which was insane. But the psychedelic nature of that school is wild. Like it almost was like sanctioned by the school. Like it didn't seem like they were, you know, like against
it. It's kind of moving into mainstream psychology right now. You know, everybody's microdosing. Like even like the most squarest people in my life are bringing it up for depression and stuff like that. It's coming, and coming really big. Especially legalized cannabis as well. I mean, I know you love the cannabis, you love the herb.
100%.
But Massachusetts has gone wide open right now. What's the vibe up there?
Yeah, so it's like recreational and medicinal, and the recreational is like the weed is pretty good. When it started, there was such a limited supply that they made it like super hard to go to a recreational dispensary. So like I remember when it opened, I was like, I gotta go back there and just see what this is all about. And so I drive up to this dispensary. We were on tour actually. Me and Gabe did this mini tour out there. And so I was like, we're gonna go to this dispensary. And when we pulled up, there was a cop outside. And I was like, oh, figures, you know? And the cop though was like smiling, and he was like, hey guys, you got to go down the road about a mile and park your car and take a shuttle to the dispensary, because we can't accommodate the amount of like cars that are trying to park here. And I was like, oh really? And then he was like, yeah, but people love this place. This is a cop saying it. And then he goes, I go, oh man, if we do that though, like what's the wait time you think? He's like, probably like an hour and a half, but it might be worth it to you, you know? And I was like, you're a cop, literally laughing about this and directing parking to where people can buy weed. Like my head was exploding. Like, what is that? Like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen. It was nuts. I mean, because growing up, kids were getting like locked up over like weed.
I know. I did 3 nights in jail. I know a lot of people that's gotten shaken down, and yeah, a lot worse than that, what I've been through. And yeah, it was a total fear zone for me. And now it's kind of wide open. And that's what I'm excited about the podcast and just figuring out how, because it's not completely opening, but the latest thing I heard, it was CBD is coming back in a big way. I actually tried to get a CBD coffee for this episode. I just ate a little bit of an edible, my last bit of edible. And then I have some chameleon. Have you ever had this stuff?
No, how is that? That's downstairs at my place.
Yeah, it's decent. This is the Mexican one. So this has kind of got that spice. Like it's kind of got that sweet cheer. You know, you ever have what's that coffee from New Orleans? Like it has,
I love it, dude.
Yeah, this has that New Orleans because it has like some type of sweetener in it. So
yeah.
So it has this cinnamon sweetness. So it's and it's not like hazelnut like bunkness. It's good, and it's $3. Like it's a good one. Chameleon cold brew. I mean, and it's not as strong. It won't blast you out as hard as maybe Stumptown and Starbucks in the can.
Stumptown is like, it's a force to be reckoned with, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's not a game. Like
it's not a game.
They're not playing. I've had like that hairbender and just like legitimately had to take like deep yoga breaths. Like I was just like, okay, it's just a pretty strong coffee. But so what's your favorite one right now?
I mean, I always like a good Stumptown. I've been fucking with this Hawaiian coffee. I need to get some more.
What's it called?
Quinoa. It's like a certain type of bean. It's just grown great, and it has just a distinct taste that's just fucking off the chain. Yeah. I talk about this on the podcast. The 2 places you can grow coffee in America. Do you know?
What's that?
It's heavy. Like I love Colombia and I love Mexican coffee, and I know we're go to Ethiopia and get these beans and all this stuff. But the 2 places, because you need elevation and you need heat, so you need mountain and then you need tropical. The 2 places you can grow it in America is Hawaii and Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why Starbucks, like Trump, should be like, yo, you guys need to get your beans only from Puerto Rico, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way to generate some cold cash. I don't know. That's something that I've been playing with my head.
Rico,
What's that? I know he's not down with Puerto Rico. I mean, I try not to get too political on this whole podcast thing because I just don't want to go down that route. But everybody knows how I feel. But
dude, Kona, we went and like my friend lived on a Kona coffee farm, so he brought us like some beans, and he also grew like phenomenal outdoors weed on that coffee farm. And so we were in Kona and like staying, well, we actually stayed in Hilo, I think. No, we stayed outside of Kona. But
Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah.
So he brought us like dope like coffee beans and like brought me like fresh outdoors. And there's something about like the outdoor bud there that was so like, you know, Maui Wowie, like there's some crazy shit about like weed that is kissed by the sun rather than like indoor shit that's like under artificial light. Like there is an ingredient of the like actual sun that makes it so much more like groovy and just like very like nice and kind and like just like almost recreates like that environment almost when you smoke it. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like it smelled so good. And I was with my parents at the time. I remember he gave me like this bag of just like fresh outdoor buds. So I went in the bathroom of our like hotel and we had like a suite with my parents. So it was like the whole family. But I was in the bathroom and I opened the bag just a crack. I wasn't even doing anything. And then my older sister was outside the bathroom and was like, I smell that. Like a minute later, it was that loud. And I was just like, what? Like from inside the bathroom, like, how could you ever? But it was phenomenal, dude. And there's roosters everywhere and stuff, like outside. It was fucking cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, the best joint I ever got was from Hawaii. This dude gave it to me in San Francisco. And he saw that I was working this day job and I was having a shitty day. And this stranger literally gave me like this joint. And he just came from Hawaii. He must have been growing because it was like, I was like, oh my God, this tastes like the sun. Like it was just like literally just the sun in my face. It turned that frown completely upside down.
I love it.
Yeah. So no, Hawaii herb, Hawaii coffee, all that. Are you off coffee? I know coffee's a little much, and the older you get, it can fry your nervous system out. Where are you at with coffee these days?
Yes, I've been drinking it. I have like I used to drink, like 5 cups of coffee a day, which is a little bit much. And like at one point I lose track and like I would have a cold brew, which is obviously just so concentrated and strong. That's when I would realize like, oh God, why am I doing this? Like 4 p.m. But now I have like 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I usually just like brew a pot with my wife, and then like I'll just have like 1 cup and I'll feel like the energy and the vibe. And if I drink too much, then my stomach will get messed up.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Like, but you know what though? That's not really the coffee I've been reading. It's about like drinking coffee on an empty stomach is never good because there's like an acidity to coffee. I mean, there's ways you can neutralize that acidity somewhat, but like, you should eat it. You should eat food or have something like along with it. And, I think that helps your stomach considerably.
Yeah, I always coat my stomach with like what I drink every morning is the banana smoothie. So I got a smoothie. It's banana. My new smoothie's ridiculous, dude.
What's in there?
Okay, I got banana. It goes ice, banana, peanut butter, and then I take a handful of oats from oatmeal. I put that in there. I douse it with turmeric, little bit of cinnamon, and then I got this collagen. Do you know about collagen?
Yeah.
Collagen, like, it's supposedly all your joints and good for your skin. So I took a scoop of collagen and I got that in there. And then I just blaze it with a little bit of milk, but not much. I'm trying to do oat milk. I'm feeling oat milk. I'm not vegetarian, but I'm starting to feel like my wife just loves meat so much. Like I just don't see her ever turning back. But if I can go a meal without it, I'm good. Like, and I don't like labels, so I don't want to say vegetarian or not. I just like to bring down the meat. But if I drink this smoothie down, like I could drink, it just coats the banana and peanut butter just coats your stomach, and it's all protein. You gotta try it out.
And turmeric is like great for anti-inflammation.
Oh yeah, I'm turmeric to the core, man. I'm meditated 20 minutes a day without the edible. I stretched. I did everything, man. I have to do everything or I'm losing my shit. I mean, I understand all this stuff, but I think you'll relate to me. Like, I know I got a cool mask. Like, I got some bandanas. I got a rainbow bandana. I got some badass but I'm sick of wearing shit over my face. I walked outside. I was like, today it just hit me. Today I'm just like, man, I'm fucking sick of this shit.
Dude, when it's going to be like 90 in the summer, it's going to make me bananas to have to wear like a mask on my face because it's just so hot. Like it's already a struggle to breathe, you know?
Yeah.
Just having like a juicy bandana on is going to be like, whatever, like a mask, like it's going to be really tough.
I know. It feels like if you have it off, it feels like, oh my God. But I try
it feels like you're a bad one.
New York's ridiculous right now. I don't know how hardcore you're playing it, but you're like, I remember right before, because you were the last person. That Friday night, that show was like on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
That was like a Wednesday, and I did something Friday night.
I'm just realizing I did too. That Friday night I went out, but you're the last person. That was the last comedy show I went to. I
But
went
then,
to
yeah,
a
and that was
birthday thing on that Friday.
yeah, and then that Wednesday, you and I sat, and everybody was like talking like, "Oh, this shit could be rough." We all felt it. But I remember you were like, even on the way driving over, you were like, I'm not feeling this shit. Like you were wigging out a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Because I think that when we first started talking, the news came on and they were like, places are going to start closing down. And I was like, what? Like, this is real. This is here.
Uh, yeah, it's nuts. What are you doing I know you work like several different jobs. Are you doing any editing or is anything moving? Are you hearing of anything?
Man, it's actually really crazy that you mentioned. So, like, I was working, like, so I've had, like, a show in development now for over a year. It's been, like, a year and 5 months-ish. Or what's it? A year and 5 months, I think, since I signed the contract. And even that process had taken so long. Like, I got super paranoid and, like, intense about it, where I was like, I don't want to lose my idea. I don't, like, ever want to get, like, I don't want to be, like, one of those people who they're like, and this fool, like, signed the dumbest contract ever. And, like, his idea went on to be humongous, you know? So I got, like, a lawyer, went through the whole thing for months. Anyway, so a year and 5 months ago, I signed this contract, and, like, we made the whole pilot, and, like, you know, everything was groovy. And then there was, like, it was just, like, quiet for a few months. And then right around the time that COVID hit and this whole thing happened, I got hit up by them frantically, and they were like, hey, it's time. Like, we're going to pitch now. And I was like, yeah, but, like, everything is closed. And they were like, well, not really. And they were like, animation is something that can be done from afar. And right now, the networks are very, very hungry for animation. And so for the past couple of weeks, we refined that final pitch stuff, all the pitch docs and all that. And so in the next couple of weeks, we're finally going to the networks and we're pitching. And I think it's going to be on Zoom, obviously, because we're not going to be, like, able to do it in person. But this is happening right now at the moment. Like, other people are also pitching via Zoom. And yeah, like, right now, animation is, like, very, very huge because the networks aren't going to be able to shoot live action for a while. Like, how are they going to get people on set and have it be safe for people to interact with each other when this pandemic is, like, a mess right now? And nobody really knows when we're going to get control of it and wrangle it. So I feel like that's a blessing. That's kept me really, kept my head up, like, hard, you know? I was like, wow, finally, like, this is it. And then the resources that they have been, like, giving us, and, like, the time, and, like, the people in this development that are involved in it are, like, big wigs, and, like, they're throwing big names at me. So, like, for once I was like, wow, this is, like, real. You guys actually care. I mean, they have been very, it's like SEX Entertainment, who is, like, you know, behind this, and, like, they have been very, very good. Like, I have to say that, like, publicly, even, like, they've been really good. I think that they're really they have given us a lot of leeway. Like, they haven't pushed back on, like, our shit at all, like, our ideas or anything. We got a cool showrunner. He's a really cool guy. He worked on Futurama and The Simpsons. He's an OG, dude. Like, he's really awesome. And, like, we have this amazing chemistry. Like, before this whole thing happened, basically, it's just so nuts, dude. The fact that this happened when it happened, like COVID, it's so crazy to me, because finally I was getting some traction. Like, I had a show in Los Angeles, and we did it with Mac DeMarco. He's fucking great. He
Yeah,
was so cool. He premiered, like, 2 or 3 new songs that night. And he's the fucking best, man. Like, such a nice dude. We had the best time. We shot the whole thing with, like, 5 cameras. That was going to be pitched to a network. Everyone loved it. All the people who ran, like, the venue/recording studio and shit were fucking so amped. We had this huge email after, like, can't wait for the next one. This is going to be a monthly. Every month we're going to do this. I talked to you. I was like, dude, we got to do one. Like, you got to be on it.
Yeah,
and then it was like,
you
collapse. Like,
yeah,
it was like right away, you know? And so what I am saying though is, if you have any cartoon ideas, any animated ideas, like, now is the time, bro. Like, you should be like putting together your pitch. You should be putting together like your shit and just going all balls out, because it is what it is. And like, for one, I mean, it costs a lot of money, right? But volume wise, they're gonna do an increased number of these animated shows, and they're gonna do I don't even know if they're gonna do live action for a long time. So now's the time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got something I'm cooking that's kind of in that vein. So yeah, but I see that the entertainment industry is moving. You know, that's the weird thing is like, even life is moving, you know,
Yeah.
like we feel so, but things are moving forward, and things, I think it's just, we're going through a huge change economically, mental health wise, physical wise. How we perceive just about everything is getting switched up and changed up. But as life still goes on and people are still figuring out how to, like you said, people are Zooming meetings. This podcast is gaining, like I did the Patreon. If I didn't have COVID, like I don't have COVID, but if this shit didn't happen, but if this shit didn't pop off, I wouldn't have gotten my shit together. And now I got a Patreon. People are paying. I'm doing these interviews, you know, and I'm just going to build up. But yeah, I see animation moving and cannabis is moving.
Dude, there's a guy I want to introduce you to. I'll talk to you about it offline. But yeah, in terms of like the Patreon and all that stuff, is amazing, dude.
Yeah, I think art is changing. Just how we're doing everything is moving. It's a little bit more technology than I like, because I am trying to remove things out of my life and make it more simple. And technology, you keep on at, but there's a way, you know, there's a way to do it.
Sure.
Tell me about music, man. What are you listening to? You always have you have a couple, I guess your friends are is it the Parquet? What's the band?
Oh yeah, Parquet Courts.
Yeah, Parquet Courts, which are heavyweights, and those are your boys. Like that's some of your closest. You had a house party a few years ago, and I stopped by, and some of those guys were hanging out. But what are you listening to right now?
Oh man, like I'm trying to get into like jazz and stuff. I've just been listening to like Spotify jazz playlists, because I've never really been a jazzman myself. But like, there's nothing like just roasting a J and just putting it on and getting lost in it. And like, there's so many different styles of jazz too.
Yes.
There's like that. There's like wild, like old stuff like Damian Marley and Nas, like Distant Cousins. Like that record is like
really love that record. Yeah,
really love that record. Like, if anyone who doesn't know that record should check it out, because like the music is amazing. Yeah, the raps are amazing. The style is like popping.
Damian Marley's no joke. And welcome to John Rock. I always liked his style, and Nas is sick. But yeah, when I did Bonnaroo, I played Bonnaroo. And it was Nas and Damian Marley right when that album came out. And they had Damian Marley on the cover of High Times. And I did an article for High Times, and I was like, yo, I'm going to bring them some magazines. And I brought them like 15 magazines, because I used to hang out at the office. And I went on stage and I put them out, and kind of was like, you know, they took them. They didn't even think, it was kind of awkward. I remember I was on stage, and I was watching them in front of like 5,000 people rip that album. The album's like sick. One of the DJs from the Jurassic 5 did a remix of that out, like a bunch of those cuts, and it's just
really,
yeah.
Jurassic 5 was ill too.
Jurassic 5, Charlie Tuna's no joke, man. Jurassic 5 has got some good beats, and that DJ Newmark, yeah, I had that album remixed by DJ Newmark, was like the remix that I used to pump on the daily. But jazz, what I like about jazz, like I'm not a nerd jazz, and I'm not sophisticated, and I'm not trying to talk all that jazz. It's just as Sonic used to say. But the thing that's cool about jazz is sometimes words are whack, you know? Sometimes you're like, dude, we're stand up. So I hear motherfuckers talk all day, every day, and I hear myself talk, and I listen, like, so sometimes it's nice just to listen to just something without any words to it.
Oh, hell yeah. And like you can see kind of like where they're going and how they're building shit. And it's like wild that they're like doing it together and like they're all playing different instruments, but they're just like riffing at this same fucking time. And
Yeah, they're
like,
following the music. They're following the muse. That's the thing about music. It's more emotional. And the thing is, yeah, you can hear screaming and crying, or even when Jimi Hendrix is playing Machine Gun, like that's a protest song, but he's not even saying any words because they create textures and tones that build emotion, you know? Stand up is like it's more brain. It's more like these are the words, this is the math. Now you know, music
yeah,
music is yeah, especially when you're talking jazz, it's like you're trying to follow wherever this thing's going.
100%, dude. And like, you know, I was gonna ask you, what is your like current jam? What are you like pumping?
Going deep on a lot of Dinosaur Jr.,
Yes.
a lot of Dinosaur Jr., a lot of Grateful Dead, doing a
Yes.
lot of Grateful Dead. I'm throwing some Fish in there. I'm pumping not old hip hop, but pumping some new hip hop. But I'm pumping. Today I was listening to Money Cash Hose by Jay-Z. Do you
Yeah.
remember this? This has DMX on it, and it has this weird
Yes.
piano thing, like this. Like you could tell, like the studio guy was just like he just like ran his fingers over the piano, and then he chopped up this sample. I think it's Just Blaze, and Just Blaze has some sick beats.
Sick as hell.
And it's like money, cash, hose, money. Wow, wow, wow. I just love that. And the Neptune's Nothing by Nori. I love that beat. And I love the concept of nothing. And I've been meditating on nothing and just like, yeah, I just think there's something to be said about nothing.
Yeah, man. There's plenty to be said about nothing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah,
Did you see the Erykah Badu, Jill Scott like verses?
I like these verses. I saw the Just Blaze win against somebody. Like they just pretty much play each other's shit over IG or whatever. But
It's
no,
bananas,
what did
yeah.
Erykah Badu? What happened? Because she scares me a little bit. I love her as an artist, but there's a you don't fuck with that chick type of vibe.
Never. Yo, she's wild. She has like a kid by like some like other like 3 different dudes, but
Yeah,
like
she's
they're
just like
all
a super muse artist that like will have children by other artists, and she just keeps it moving and always is working on shit, always wearing some
she
shit.
was wild. She was like killing it. Like
but she
it was
also
cool.
has
It was really cool to watch, but it was also like who the original one was wild. It was like Premier versus fuck, I can't remember who he was.
I remember that. Was it Timberland?
I can't remember. It's
it
like
was maybe
killing me.
Premier or no, but the one
It was so huge when it happened too.
the one
Like
I
the
saw,
streets were on fire, and now I'm just like trying to remember.
I know.
Remember Scott Storch though? He was like such a beast, and then he spent like $50 million on cocaine. Like
from the roots, Scott Storch. He's always smoking a joint now, and he's always playing piano, and I think it's so dope. The thing about sobriety and like, I love seeing old cokeheads or hard drug people come back to the herb, you know, because I think the hard drugs is like what fucked up a lot of the movement of the herb being legalized. Not that I don't think anything should be illegal. Like I'm learning more about like not controlling people and just letting the good happen. But just like that junky like hard drug thing kind of fucked up a lot of it. Like cannabis got lumped into
in with like that
whole sketch crowd, and
that's like throwing like vegetables in with like trans fats. It's like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
like crazy talk.
I had a new concept. Just like last night, like you said, like I had a little bit more of an edible and I hit a little bit of herb, my last of the herb that I had. And man, I got hit with like some heavy thoughts. And one of the one is like right now, everybody's grasping for so much power. Like everybody's like, Trump's trying to make this move, China's trying, everybody's just like, just like all trying to figure it out. And it's like, no, nobody can figure it out.
Yeah,
There's all these people trying to grab this amount of power. It can't happen. Like they're wasting their time. Like you're never going to figure it out. You're never going to live long enough to ever figure it out. Why are you
I
even
agree.
trying to grab it? Like, let it go.
They can't do it though. I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I think the whole thing is, I think they're like exactly what you're saying. They're like obsessed with trying to like grab power and shit. But in the meantime, it's like nobody even knows what like tomorrow brings because they're still figuring out this
They don't
virus. Even like, you know what I mean?
This virus threw everybody. The virus even threw the Illuminati off.
Yeah. They're like, what's going on?
They were like, what? We're about to take over this shit. You guys are throwing this? Even the aliens started showing up, and the aliens took off. They left.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like the aliens are like, our work is done here.
Yeah, I think the aliens were like, oh, we're about to show up and show off. And then they were like, oh, this place is skanked out. These guys got herpes. We're out of here, yo.
Dude, they just released that whole, like, I mean, that video has been like around.
Yeah, the dude from Blink-182 can't stop tweeting about it.
Yeah, he's the one who got it, released it. He originally somehow got his hands on it and released it. And people were like, this is, like, the Navy was like, yeah, we're not going to, like, confirm this. And now they're just like, yeah, it's real. And it's just like, what? You guys are, but nobody's even reacting to that. That's how jammed up the world is over the virus. It's like, people are just like, all right, fine. If aliens exist, we'll get with that. We'll get to that later, you know?
Yeah, I got to pay for my kid's school and I got to do, people are like, people want business to get moving.
Is your kid going to Zoom school?
Yeah, the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
it's rough. It's rough, but we're getting by. Like I said, it's like times I'm like, oh, this is rough. And then there's other times I'm like, oh, I'm really getting to spend a lot of quality time with my family. So,
yeah.
And in this stage and age, everything's moving so fast and quick, you know? So yeah, we're figuring it out, man. Yeah, during the day, it's like full on. And then Thursday, I'm like 3 o'clock, I got to do my podcast. I got to get this up and rocking. And so everybody leaves me alone.
That's sick.
Yep. And for Thursday. So this is good. We're finding a schedule. We've got our whole schedule. What about you? What are you doing? You're working on the pitch?
Working on the pitch. Trying to, a lot of like watching stupid stuff, like reading a lot and kicking it, man. Just like going for walks, like with a mask on, which is like, you know, you got to get out there at least and have some sun on you. But yeah.
Yep. Going out. I got some vitamin D drops. I've been taking some drops of vitamin D. But yeah.
How is that?
It's good. Yeah, vitamin D drops. Yeah, get on it, man. And supposedly it blocks corona. You know what I heard blocks corona is high CBD herb.
Really?
Yeah, CBD is about to go full on. I guess Oprah and Dr. Oz are about to drop full on CBD gummies, like approved by the FDA. Like,
no.
Yeah, that somebody just sent me that email like 3 days ago. Like, dude, you've been talking this shit forever. It's like, it's about to go big because people are experiencing so much anxiety right now. The same thing with mushrooms and depression. You know, I think all this stuff is going to start coming out of the black market and looked at with more of a real eye.
I like mushrooms because they like lower the walls in your mind that you like put up to contain things. And so like if used correctly, like, you could problem solve, like, and you can like emotionally problem solve where you're like, oh, I see why I feel that way or whatever it is, you know? And like, I've never, you know, knock on wood, ever taken them without coming out the other side feeling better and like feeling like I've like at least kind of worked through some shit.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I think I do need it, but I don't like it. I don't like being in city environments with psychedelics. I did have a bad experience in college. I took some mushrooms with some people I didn't know, and then I was just locked up, and their energies, their vibe just wasn't working with my vibe. It was just completely the wrong vibe.
Yeah.
And it kind of it didn't turn me off, but yeah, it was just kind of a bummer, and I went down a dark hole. Bless you.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I think with psychedelics, it's good. But I have had some amazing trips. One of the best trips I ever had was I did 6 months in Southeast Asia. Before I could stand in 1999, I quit my job. I saved up 10 grand in DC, and I just sold everything down to a backpack. And it was before that we even had cell phones, dude. I did 6 months backpacking all through Asia, all through Thailand, all through Cambodia, but this place, the full moon parties in the southern part of Thailand, you know?
Yes, dude.
Yeah. Right.
It's on Koh
Phi Phi.
Yeah, Koh Phi Phi, yeah.
You go down, you fly into Bangkok, and then you catch another flight down south. If anybody's going to Thailand, you can go up to the northern part, and that's where they say they have like, the opium and all that shit is up there. Like that's the triangle. But if you go down to the southern part of Thailand, there's the most beautiful islands. And that's where the movie The Beach was filmed. Like I did this the year before the movie The Beach, and I went to all those places. That movie literally was like out of my fucking memory bank. But one of them was a full moon party where they would make mushroom shakes, and they put it in a fruit shake, like blueberries and mangoes, and then all this mushrooms. And you would drink the shake, and it was like, I remember it was like this cove, and it was just like this beach with a couple bars on it, and they would just pump music all night long. And there was no real roads. It was literally like, naked backpackers walking around tripping on mushrooms.
It's amazing.
It was amazing. I remember I went into the water for like an hour, and you ever go into the water and go with your eyes like this? So I was just like hanging in the water, tripping and hanging out like a frog, just like checking the whole beach out, and the music's going, and it's naked backpackers, and I'm just like,
That's amazing.
I
love doing that.
Amazing
by the way.
Trip, yeah.
I love just having your eyes above the water and you're just like floating. Dude, I love snorkeling too. It's like it's so frogged up, like you're just like hovering at the top of the water. One time I just like got super high in Maui, and I walked over like all this volcanic rock with my friend. He lived out there, so he like took me to go snorkeling, but he thought I had been snorkeling before, but I never had. And so we just keep walking over all this volcanic rock in this like area, and then you get out to this like cove that opens like that into the ocean. So like there's like this just gap where the ocean just keeps refilling it, and it's like a circular, they call it the fishbowl. You can't go there now, but like this was friggin' 15 years ago or whatever. So anyways, we get there and we smoke like another J, and then he's like, all right, pop on your flippers and your like thing. So I'm like struggling with it all, finally get it on. He just jumps in effortlessly, and he's like, it's amazing in here, jump in. And I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, how do I do all this? And he's like, you just turn around and just jump backwards, jump in. So I jumped in, and the minute I opened my eyes when I was like in the water, I was surrounded by like Finding Nemos and shit, like tropical fish. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I like had never been in such close proximity to like a billion fish. So I sprung up out of the water, and I was like, blah! I was like screaming and like flailing around. He's like, dude, chill. He's like, what are you doing? And I was having a panic attack.
Oh no.
And then he talked me down, and then like it took him like, good 10 minutes to like keep me from hyperventilating. I was like, also it was like sharp coral, and I was like trying to climb out, like about to like rip my arms off.
Fuck you up, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, dude, you gotta fucking chill. And then finally I was okay. And he's like, follow me. And I just like frog swam in this like, dude, you look down, it was like 100 feet deep. And it was amazing, just teeming with life. And I was just like low key, like yogically breathing through the like tube, and just like frogging it up. And I was like, this is the best thing on earth.
Yeah, frogging it up, man. I always dug the frog because it can go land and water.
Yeah.
Can frogs breathe underwater?
I don't know. They're like, it's so weird. Actually, when they're tadpoles, they have like gills and shit. But then when they
come out, man, it's like they surf different universes.
Yeah.
I always thought about that, just like to be a tadpole and then to go on land. That must be a funky thing, man.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Hawaii, and I want to. I was just listening. Rick Rubin has a podcast, and he was talking and he has a studio called Shangri-La, like that's out there. That's supposedly like the sickest recording studio. That's all. Recording studios are just pads in places that are chill, and the upper level ones are in chiller places. But he was talking to Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. It was a great conversation, but it's like in Hawaii, and he's fucking macking out over there. But that's the only thing. Hawaii, like it seems like all the retired high rollers of LA end up in Hawaii.
It's the best place, man. It's so amazing and beautiful and like just fucking tremendous. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Have you been? How many times have you been there?
3 times, yeah. But like, I'd honestly, if there was any way in my life, like, for me to go back there, like, every year, I would probably. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I knew some dudes that lived there after college that did like the thing, like the year after college, lived in worked in bars and shit in their early 20s in Hawaii. And yeah, I think there's an island life, man. But
I mean, it's kind of wild. Like, you are like isolated from the mainland, and things are a lot more expensive because of that as well. But like,
yeah,
the natural beauty there, and like just being like able to like swim in like crystal like clear ocean. In the wintertime, it's more choppy though. Like, I've been there in the winter, and I've been like, oh, like I can't really see like I normally would be able to in the water because it's just like very rocky and wavy and shit. But in the summertime, the water is like glass, dude, and you could just like fucking
the crystal.
chill.
Yeah, it's super. I learned to surf on that trip. I did a month in Bali. I went to Kuta Beach. And Kuta, they have the local surf dudes that could teach you. So you can rent a board, and the beach break, it's not a coral break. It's this easy, and it pops up like 3 to 4 feet, and it's just super glassy. And the locals you can rent a board from them, and they'll take you, and they sell herb. So those guys, I all knew those dudes because I hung out there for like a month, and I would just surf, and then I would eat ramen. They sell ramen on the beach, ramen noodles, and they put an egg in it, and they hook it up with all this soy sauce, and it's just protein and salt. And that's all you want after you're like swimming in this glassy shit. And the herb was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, in terms of glassy super waves, I mean, Hawaii is like up there, man.
Dude, I want to go to Bali. I've never been. I heard it's amazing.
Bali's dope, man. Bali, I mean, the place I really like is this Riley Beach, which is like a climbing wall that's in Thailand. That's really small, but it literally is from the book, The Beach, or that movie with what's his face. But they went there, they filmed it, and that was the most beautiful place I've ever been. Bali was great, but it is kind of tourist out. Like, it's kind of blown up because there's so many Australians. And Australians, that's like their Florida, is to go to Bali.
Yeah.
So you're hanging, and it's just like so many expats in Kuta Beach. But it's still, it's still fucking really dope. But all those places are great. But, there's like, I don't know. It's almost like I need a little bit of roughness in order to appreciate it. It's like if you don't appreciate something when you have it all the time, it's nice to have a little give and go.
Yeah, 100%.
Or if you position yourself in such a place like, oh, I'm in paradise. I have the comfiest chair. I have everything I want. And then you're still not happy.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
yeah,
the thing you got to work. Like, you're never going to, getting there is like, that's something I'm working on, is just being happy now, you know? And even 100%. In Corona shit, like being happy now and not doing that, I long to do this, or I can't wait till I'm famous, or I can't wait till I'm a millionaire. It's like, I don't know if any of that, I don't even know if tomorrow's going to happen now.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy this shit. Do you think you want, I saw you tweeting you're not sure about New York, or what's your vibe about New York right now? Are you going to jump ship, or are you going to hang?
I mean, I've been hanging, and like, I'm coming up on 10 years now. So it's like,
10?
I don't want to leave. Like, yeah. I just want things to get more feasible. Like, the rent is too damn high for us to not be able to have. It's like being like, come eat at this restaurant. It costs $100. You're like, whoa, that's pretty pricey. They're like, sure, but like, there's all this amazing food. And then you get there, they're like, you still owe $100, but there's just like a dry piece of like bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the cool shit's shut down here. All the shit, all the cool shit, and all the artists. Yeah, I wonder what it's gonna do to the city. I mean, I think we're here for now, but I don't know. There's still like, you know, we still got to play it month to month, whatever's safest for my family. And I've even got some backups, like talking to people like, yo, you got a spare room, you know, in case this shit gets too hot here.
Right.
But it'll be interesting, because I do hear a lot of people like, I'm leaving New York. Why am I in New York? I'm out of here. And I believe it. Like, I believe it and I feel it. But at the same time, New York's always been so dope. People are like, yeah, go ahead, leave. I want you know.
Yeah, yeah.
People want you. Right, I mean, people want you to leave, because then there's more room. You know, it's
exactly.
Just, you know, all the people talking about jumping ship or leaving, or there's people other places going, I'm gonna move there now. You know, now's the time to make a move. And I was talking to, like, with this whole thing, like, people with money are making moves right now.
Yeah.
There's moves to be made. Like, I know people that are selling real estate, and I'm like, what? You sold houses? And they're like, yeah, people are figuring it out.
Yeah. I've noticed that too.
Yeah. It's an odd time. I just think it's just a big shakeup, you know?
Yeah. So we got to see how it all like pans out.
Yeah. We got to see how it all plays out. Have you smoked today?
Yeah, earlier. Yeah, always wake and bake every day. A little weed and a little coffee go a long way, man.
Yeah, and then you're good for the rest of the day, and then you hunker down. Are you doing a movie tonight?
Of course. Like, I'll watch like mostly just like a fun movie, and then something like bone crushing about like the justice system being like fucked up, and then like sandwich it with something funny.
Yeah. I've been going on a big music thing. That Miles Davis, Netflix has a good Miles Davis documentary that's sick.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, that one's really good. And then I watched about that director. I like documentaries about people. I like biographies, because you see people's like things. Anything on music. ZZ Top has a really good documentary I've been into.
Have you seen the Harry Nilsson one?
No.
There was one that was on Netflix for a while about Harry Nilsson. I don't know if it still is, but that dude lived a crazy interesting life.
Who's Harry Nilsson? Yeah.
He was the dude who did you put the lime in the coconut.
Yes.
Remember him? And
was he around during the Beatles time? Is that what it is?
I'm trying to remember like what group he did. Nilsson Schmilsson was like one of his like records. But dude, he recorded with John Lennon and like blew out his vocal cords in the studio, but didn't want to admit it or tell him. So he just powered through and was like coughing up like trash cans of blood. And like, it was his apartment, I think, that like Mama Cass and Keith Moon died in.
Yes. I think.
Yeah, he's like, he had like a wild life, dude.
How did Mama Cass die?
I think she died in her sleep. People said she had died from like choking on a ham sandwich, but I don't think that's true.
She died in her sleep.
And I think, and Keith Moon died of like a pill overdose.
Nah. Yeah, he was out there.
Yeah.
His
and John Bonham was, too.
Yeah, John. Success is hard, you know, like Lao Tzu, I've been listening to all this meditation. It's like the higher you go up, the more dangerous it gets. And I've seen that with famous people. Like the more successful you like, oh, they got it made, but it's like it gets creepy and weird and shit can go wrong and you got no control and it's just like the younger you are and you're not prepared for that shit, it's rough. But yeah, I won't keep you too long. It's 4:05. I think we've been recording for a minute now.
Dude, this has been great though.
I've been having a blast. We gotta hang out, man. Are you?
Yeah, 100%.
What's the word on the street? Like, are people seeing each other? Like, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you just meet in the park, wear a mask, like hang like 6 to 10 feet away, but like you can still be in the same vicinity and like chat it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Sameer, where should I tell people to check you out, man? We'll finish up the podcast here.
Oh, all my stuff is usually on like my Instagram, which is Sameermon, SAMEERMON.
Yeah, man. Have you been pumping much reggae?
I mean, every chance I get, dog.
I know it is so good, man. Jamaica. Have you been to Jamaica?
Never.
Oh, you should check it out, man. It's all music. That place is run on music, but it's also there's a lot of poverty. You gotta watch where you go. I think Hawaii feels a little bit safer, but Jamaica's cool. Jamaica's dope, and just reggae. I have been pumping a lot of reggae. What do you think? Is Sublime cheesy or not?
I don't know. Maybe not. Some of their early stuff I still think about, and I'm like, it was kind of cool. It was weird, but it's cool.
Did you go through a ska phase?
100%.
You have almost a ska. I think I see a real big fish phase.
Yeah, all types of like pop ska and traditional ska.
Yeah,
like Satellite style, and then like New York ska, like the Slackers and stuff. Still love that.
Oh wow. There is something really cool about ska. I don't know. That beat it's upbeat. Like reggae is downbeat. Like reggae, it's more of like a tone. If you're ever bummed out about life or stressed out, you put on reggae and it's almost like smoking a joint, but it's just like, you don't even have to. It's just so, but ska like kind of gets you going. Like,
yeah, it gets you pumped up. I love that.
You gotta want to get on a treadmill or something, man.
Yes, sir.
You want to skank it out. Sameer Naseem, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sameer Naseem, you're the man, and I love you. Thank you for doing the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Let's hang and do this in person and smoke a joint. And peace and love.
Yeah, man. Much love to you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're the man. You're the man. Hey, I'll shut it right there.